Hello, my Teaserking family. Where's everybody today? I think I'm okay. I have this. I have this pain in my side, like right here. Just after I ate like a piece of roast, not a whole roast. So hope I'm okay. I might have to run to the doctor. I just got it like Saturday. I was in the pool and I thought it's a pulled muscle. That's what I believe it is. But I just had lunch and it's like stuck or something. I don't know. It's getting worse. It started hurting last night. And then I took an Advil and it was better. And I woke up, it was better. I went to the pool, it was okay. I didn't do any stretches because I didn't want to do it because I don't know what it is. But anyway, we will see. All right, let's look at gold. Gold 23.59 and silver 30.76. Just as I thought, the derivatives, since the U.S. was closed Thursday and probably Friday, there wasn't any negatives, and it went all the way up to 23.80. And now we can see the uh, the derivative go down from 23. Basically 23.81 down to 23.50. So it was a $30 derivative down, which makes sense because if they couldn't do it Thursday or Friday, they're going to do it today. So anyway, still 23.59. It's holding in there. So it hit 23.53 back up. So hopefully we're ending these derivatives, as Mark McGuire thinks, but I don't think it ends just like that. I think it takes a little bit of time. That hurts. Yawning hurts. Sneezing hurts. Something seems stuck right back. It's in the back of it's in the back and the side. I don't know. I might have to take Motrin or something. Anyway, so before we start, I wanted to do that Nazi thing again because it was at the end of the video yesterday, and I just wanted to show that, and then we can get back and we'll go do baseball. So
it's what dogs are supposed to be.
If we do, we're going to do this one here. Hitler's plan to wreck Britain's economy with counterfeit money. So again, I just want to do it to explain inflation to you, that he was going to print counterfeit money to ruin the economy. So if you print a lot of money, it kills the value. So that's all I was trying to show you. So let's go through that.
1940, Hitler's armies drove through Europe. Only Britain held out against their assault. But the Nazis had a covert plan to undermine the British defenses. In a concentration camp north of Berlin, a secret weapon was rolling off the production lines. Its purpose? To strike silently and stealthily at the heart of the British Empire and invade every aspect of daily life. It was a weapon made of paper. At the height of World War II, the Nazis pulled off the greatest currency forgery in history, producing the equivalent today of over £3 billion. The original plan was to produce very large amounts of British paper currency and drop it over Britain. Some of the more honest members of the public would maybe have handed them into banks or police stations, but generally the Germans were banking on the idea that they wouldn't, and it would cause huge inflation and totally destabilize the currency and the British government. Hitler personally authorized the plan to flood Britain with fake currency, cause massive inflation, and wreck the British war effort. To produce these forgeries, the Germans relied on a unique national resource. The Nazis had interred millions of Jews in concentration camps across Middle Europe.
But I don't want to get too much into concentration camps, but so what do we know? We know inflation is printing the money. They want to tell you inflation is prices going up, but I argue it's not. It's printing the money. There's too much money. You print it, and the money is worthless because you printed too much. And that's basically what you have with the Nazis printing the money. Where, like here, we're printing all this money, 21 trillion, another 130 trillion for the oil, for the petrodollar. So what's Hitler doing? So Hitler understands if I print all these counterfeit British pounds, it'll kill your economy, and that'll end the war with Britain because they won't have their money will be worthless. So he's trying to make the money worthless. So Hitler understands if I print a lot of pounds, then the pound's worthless. But yet here we don't understand that. They're printing all these dollars, and the MMT Keynesians say, we can just keep printing as much as we want. We'll just keep printing and printing and printing, and not a problem. And apparently Hitler disagrees and says, no, if you keep printing, there is a problem. You won't be able to, it'll ruin the dollar. So it's printing the dollars. That's the inflation. So that's what I'm teaching. That's what I want you to get. And there's a good example. That's just from an example that Hitler and the Nazis knew that, and they were going to print a lot to get the pound, to kill the pound, basically. And that's where we're at. So FYI there, that's the point. So the Romans did it. They got all their gold and silver out of their money and printed their money, and they inflated. And then, Spain and France and the Netherlands and England all did it too. Now there's another one here. And
with so many choices across the U.S., find Boston hotels even Yankees fans could love.
It stank like a pigsty from a long way off. That was the kind of soup we got.
With so many choices across the U.S., find Boston hotels even Yankees fans could love.
Despite these conditions, the prisoners continued the flow of fake banknotes to Schloss Labes. They were now being used to finance SS terrorism and intelligence gathering throughout the world. One agent alone was paid £1.5 million in Bernhard currency for vital information about Allied war plans. And in 1943, it funded the rescue of the overthrown dictator Mussolini, helping prolong the war in Italy by 18 months.
He was imprisoned, and the Germans were interested in setting him free. So they had a problem. He was hidden, and they had to locate him. So with the help of this money, of the faked British pounds, they were able to bribe various Italian officials or police person or whatever, and in this way they could locate him.
Schloss Labes became the Nazi Bank of England. But as Schwendt and his network distributed their fakes around the world, the real Bank of England made a startling discovery. Even as late as the 1940s, every note issued by the bank was recorded in vast leather-bound ledgers.
It literally goes back centuries to the origin of the banknote, which was a receipt for coin. Somebody came in, made a deposit of coin, were given a receipt in the form of a note, a promissory note. I promise to pay Mr. XYZ or bearer the sum of, and then the amount. And that was handed back to them.
The numbers were entered in the ledger as a liability on the bank. It was during this archaic process that a clerk spotted in a bundle of returned notes one that had already been marked in the ledger as paid off.
So either the one that had been paid before was a forgery, or this one was a forgery, and it turned out to be this one. And the principal of the office, on seeing this note, described it as the most dangerous he'd ever seen. I think people understand that money is important during life, but it's also equally can be a matter of life and death during wartime.
In the 1790s, the British forged the French Revolutionary money, and it was incredibly effective. By, I think, 1795, it was 13,500% inflation. So much so that they just withdrew the currency and burnt it in the streets. Big bonfires in the centre of Paris.
To avoid panic, the bank kept their discovery a secret. It was announced that to counteract the effects of the black market, no new notes above £5 would be printed.
So there you go. Hey, Greg and John. So what does English do in 1795 to the French? They print and get 13,000% inflation, and basically ends that war because their French dollar was worthless because they printed so much, and that was it. So that was like the bottom line. They printed a lot, and that destroys the dollar, is the printing of the money. And here's another case. So the Germans were going to do it to the Brits in World War II, but instead they said, you know what, we'll keep the money. So they ended up spending the British pound as if it was real. And that's the problem you have with fiat printed money. If it's not gold, you can't do that with, right? Gold, you can't print. It's gold. If you have it, it's there, right? If you don't have it, you don't have it. But with the fiat money, with our little collection of crap, of toilet paper, this can be printed very easily. And really, there's nothing. Oh, there is a serial number on it. Here's part of it here. So that you do get the serial number, but it's so big. Are you really going to track it down? I mean, I don't know. But this is the problem. You can counterfeit these dollars because they're just being printed, right? So like Money Heist, the professor just printed dollars in the first one, right? There's two Money Heists. There's 2 seasons. Well, there's 5 seasons, but 2 different episodes. First one, he just goes into the bank and prints €1 billion. And the second one, he gets smart and steals gold. And so in this case, that's what's happening. But that's what happened here, right? So the Nazis are printing British pounds that are fake, and they're going to destroy British economy and the pound. And they said, no, let's keep it. We'll use it because it's so good. They'll think it's real British pounds. But in 1795, the British actually got the French franc and dumped it 13,000% inflation and ended that war because the French currency was worthless. Again, that's what happens when you print money and you don't back it by gold. So that's why gold's the best. You can't inflate it. You can't duplicate it. Most importantly, you can't print it, right? So you can't make more gold. So if you're on the gold standard and you have the physical, you can't fake it. You can't come up and say, hey, let's print gold. You can't. So that's the story. So I wanted you just it was on yesterday late. It was a long class. So I wanted to make sure everybody gets this. I'm doing it in the front of the class in case you didn't see it yesterday, but it's very valuable. It proves the point that inflation is printing the money and you can't reverse it, or the French would have in 1795, or the British here would have reversed it. So you can't get rid of inflation once you got it. And that's my point. And they say, oh, inflation is 3% down to 2%. That's bullshit. It's not year over year. That's not how you measure inflation. And you don't measure it by prices. You measure it by how much you print. And it's clear what's happening here. So anyway, that's the story with that. I wanted to get that clear, that inflation is printing the money, not the prices. I think the 13,000 is the prices because the dollar loses value when you print too much, and then the prices go up because the dollar isn't worth as much, so it takes more dollars to buy it. Like gold, $37 an ounce turns into 37 an ounce turns into 2,035 right now. It's painful. Right in the back. It's 2050 right now. Why is gold 2050 an ounce of gold? Because the dollar loses so much value, it takes more dollars to buy it. However, these guys get confused on the dollar price. That's part of it. But as the demand for dollars goes up, that makes the price go up too. So it's not always that the dollar, well, now it takes $5,000 to buy it. But part of that is because the demand for gold will go up, will raise the price. Not necessarily, yes, it will take more dollars, but it's still demand also plays a role in it. How did they live back then? What do you mean? How did they live back then? What are you talking about? In Nazi Germany, there was a war going on. The Jews lived in concentration camps, and people that didn't like Hitler and didn't like the Nazis and wanted freedom, they all lived in these concentration camps where they all got killed. It was slave labor, and then when they couldn't work anymore, they'd kill them. It was insanity. Why not let them work? I mean, it's crazy. So that's how during the war, that's how the Jews and other type of people who were against the Nazis lived. But otherwise, they had a normal economy in the early 1930s. I mean, they would go to work and get money and go buy groceries and stuff. That's what they did. But, it's the same situation here. We just need gold-backed currency or we're fucked because our dollar is being printed like the Nazis printed the British and the British printed the French. And you can see what happened. They print too much, it loses its value. The Romans, Spain, the Netherlands, all the way through, the French and the English, all have the same problem. They get off gold, they print too much, and it becomes worthless. So that's the problem. So I'm trying to make that crystal clear that that's what inflation is. It's printing too much money. And there's two good examples. The Germans were smarter and said, instead of inflating the pound, let's use the pound. That was very smart. Sort of like money heist. They printed the dollars, but they didn't flood the dollars on the market to ruin the euro. They used the euro for themselves. They said, we just printed $1 billion in euros. We'll spend it. So I guess if I was that good at counterfeiting, that's probably what I would do. I don't know why you'd ruin the currency if you've just printed all this currency. So the Nazis and money heist are the same. But what the English did to the French in 1795, they actually ruined the French franc instead of using it. Maybe they could have used it. I don't know. But they ended the war because it was 13,000% inflation. And that answers the question, why didn't they lower the inflation? Because you can't. once you print all that money, you can't do anything with the inflation. I'm in a lot of pain here, so let's get to baseball before I run out to the doctors or something. All right, so looked at the gold price. It is $23.59. Was $23.86 today. We knew the derivative was coming on the U.S. at 10 o'clock. He did. Silver at 30.76. Okay, so let's look at baseball. Let's go through yesterday's games. So I had Atlanta, 3 units, 1. Washington over 9, 3 units, 1. Cleveland over 9, 3 units, 1. Miami over 8, 2 units because I was scared they couldn't hit, and that won. Houston over 9, I was surprised it lost 5 units. KC, 3 units, 1. Baltimore, 3 units, 1. Seattle under 7.5, finally got some hits. San Diego over 8, 1, 5 units. And the Yankees over 8 didn't show up against Boston. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4-0, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 6-2, 7-2, 7-3 yesterday. A huge day. Sometimes when I pick a lot of games, I get a little worried, but they all came through. Baltimore won, Kansas City won, San Diego goes over. The only ones that was surprising is the Yankees didn't go over, which was kind of surprising, and Seattle didn't go under, which was really surprising. And then the Houston game was a low-scoring game. Those are the 3 I lost. And they all made perfect sense to have played them. All right, let's look at today. All right. St. Louis, Washington's already started. There's only a few games today. Pitt beat the Mets 8-2. This game started at like 12:30. 12:30 on a Monday. What's the point of that? So, wouldn't have had I don't know what I would have done on that one. And then St. Louis is beating Washington 2-0. All right. Cleveland at Detroit, 6:40, gives you an hour and a half. Gavin Williams, 0-1 with 11.25, goes against Cater Montero, 1-2 with the 6.60. You got to go over here, even though Detroit's got so many bad hitting. Let's go Detroit over 8.5. Because it's Detroit, we'll play it for 2 units. Colorado, Cincinnati, we got Ryan Felter for Colorado, 1-7 with the 5.60 against Andrew Abbott, 8-6 with the 3.28. So let's go Cincinnati here. I'm not going to bet it. Minnesota and the White Sox. Chris Paddock, 5-3, 5.29 for Minnie. The White Sox, Chris Flexen, 2-7 with the 5.08. I don't know. I guess we'll go Minnie over. But I hate going over. It's not a really good one because the White Sox don't hit that much. But we'll go Minnie over. We'll play this for 2 units. Texas and California, John Gray, 3-4, 3.92. Davis Daniel, 1-2 with the 2.70, but he's only pitched 2 games. So it's hard to say, let's go under here. I'm going to ignore that. And Atlanta and Arizona, Chris Sale, 11-3, 2.71 against Yaibir Diaz, who has not pitched. So we're going to take Atlanta here with Chris Sale. We'll play it for 5 units. And that's it. I mean, then there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 games, and there's already 2, 1 finished, 1 going on. So then we got 5, and we played 3 of them. So the biggest game is Atlanta. Chris Sale makes sense. Minnesota over 9.5, 2 units because we don't like the White Sox don't hit. And Cleveland over 8.5, also for 2 units. So that's baseball today. I updated my batting average and ERA. This looks bad. The batting average, very little changed, right? Most of them didn't change at all. But the ERAs definitely changed. And I mean, like from 3.7 to 4 or 3.7 to 3.5. Oh God. Something's stuck in there because when I yawned yesterday, it wasn't that bad. But I don't think it's too serious. I mean, I think it's plugged because I'm not sweating and throwing up and no fever. And that's how you usually can tell something's wrong. You got a fever and you're sweating and you're throwing up. I don't have that. I think it's just something got stuck in there or it's a pulled muscle. I got it Saturday in the pool. I was doing a lot of stretches for my back. And then I noticed it kind of crunched up on me in the middle of my workout. I take a hot tub and I relaxed. I went to get Chinese and Chinese was closed. And I told you I had a aberration on that where I thought the Chinese was closed, even though it's normally open Saturday. And they actually were. I got there and it was actually closed, which was amazing. So that's how I work. I get the premonitions. But with that said, they, it felt better yesterday. Now I did a 47-hour fast. So I didn't eat Saturday. I didn't eat Sunday. I was going to get the Chinese, but not eat it till Monday or yesterday. So I didn't eat. So I had dinner Friday. I didn't eat Saturday, mostly because of my feet, my back, and my knee. It just seems to be coming more and more. And then basically you're dealing with you're dealing with sorry. So I'm not eating, right? So I was going to do it all Saturday. So yesterday, that's what I was doing. So I didn't eat till 5 o'clock Sunday. So I didn't eat. I ate dinner Friday, didn't eat Saturday, didn't eat Sunday. And then when I ate Sunday, this started. Well, it started Saturday, but it wasn't too bad. And then I went to Berkshire on Thursday. I went to the mall. And then yesterday, I was very careful on my workout. I didn't do any stretches or anything that would prevent it, and it seemed okay. And then I had dinner, and I made a roast Friday night, so I just ate it yesterday, and it started to bother me. And then it was hard to sleep. Then I get to sleep, and it was okay. I wake up. I'm able to walk. I'm able to ride the bike. I'm able to go swim and run in the pool and take a hot tub, and I don't feel too bad. And now I got home and I eat the roast, and now it's almost like it's stuck going through the system. This is very interesting. So what I've been doing is taking ibuprofen, Advil, and icing it, and then it seems to work. The Advil tends to put me to sleep, which is good. I take it, I go to sleep, I wake up, I feel better. So we'll have to see what's going on here. Maybe not eat any more of the roast for a while. I don't know. I don't know what they're putting in the meat now. But anyway, this is painful, especially when I yawn, which it wasn't before. I could yawn. I said, oh, okay, it's fine. So it's getting a little bit worse, I guess. I'm a little bit lightheaded right now. I've been dizzy, a little lightheaded, and things are moving on me, but that seems better now. I'm not noticing that. Anyway, so we're going to talk pro football now. And we'll go through week one. One thing I want to note is on Teaserking. Now, when I go through, this class will be free, but I'm not going to give you picks, right? I'll just talk detail. I won't get into details. I'll just say, Baltimore's Kansas City. Here's the spread. I don't know any injuries, or I'll update injuries and stuff like that. But what I'll do is having my IT guy edit. So if you want me to walk through the picks like I've been doing, there'll be 25 for college, 25 for pro, and I'll get your PayPal. So when you buy it, I'll get your email and I'll know, okay, these so many people have paid for the class where I'm going to walk through the picks. I'm going to say, okay, Detroit and Chicago, boom, boom, boom. We like the dog, we like the over, we like the under, and basically give you the pick. But I'm not going to do it live. I'm not going to do it for free. So you can either do that or you can buy the picks on the site per normal. So if you don't want to listen to my YouTube, but you want to get the picks, you can do it that way. But otherwise, I can't keep giving the picks for free on YouTube. So I'll just be doing what I'm doing now. You just won't get any picks. Anyway, so that's what's new. So there'll be a college one, $25, and a pro one, $25. So on one day I'll do college, on one day I'll do pro. And that's what's new. It should be in the on Teaserking tomorrow. My IT guy will post it. He said probably. I said tomorrow's fine. Still haven't heard on the job. 4 interviews. I'm still waiting. And then on my other thing, the trust from my mother, haven't heard yet. That should be coming soon. They're working on how much to distribute. I don't know how long that's going to take, but with July 4th, I'm sure they had a lot of vacations. So they should be, I'd say by the end of this week or next week, they should be giving me that. Daria's mom's in Russia now. So basically she's got some visiting to do, and then she'll look after Daria's daughter, and we can meet in Serbia. So excited about that. It'll be nice to finally be with Daria after so long. One of my friends at the pool said, "Well, did you ever hear from her?" I told her it's been a week. I said, "Yeah. She's, I don't know, just if she just doesn't think to tell me, well, I haven't heard from you for 5 days because I've been working." Well, you're working. Just say I'm at work, and I'll be working the week, and that's it, and then I won't have to worry about it. She doesn't get it, so I said to her, "Well, I'll have a nice talk over dinner about it." So that's coming up. So I'm excited about that. How much does it cost? The classes, I assume, $25. 25 for college, 25 for pro. So depending on what you're buying, you might bet both. Most people do. So that'd be that, or you could pay $100 to get all the picks, college and pro, for the week. This way you get the analysis of most games, and then, my thought process on why I'm picking them. In the free, I'll just say, well, here's the line. KC, Baltimore. KC's laying 2.5, 46.5. And that's it. Where in the paid, I'll get into more of the trends and more, well, this is this type of team and that, and I like the game. This is my pick. And I'll get into it. And then you could, as many games as I pick, you'll get, which you'll get on the if you just go to teaserking.com. But this way it's more interactive, and seems like I got a lot of activity when I did the class, but I didn't get a lot of buyers. So I got to change that. I can't, because the buyers I get pissed. Well, hell, if you're going to give them away, I'll just watch your YouTube. Oh, so it pisses off the buyers, and then I don't get more buyers, and that doesn't make sense. I am in the business of selling the football picks, not the economics. That's free. If you want a class in it, then that's also 25, and we would talk mostly what we talk about here, Titanic and inflate, like the inflation I just did, that would be a class, but we get all into inflation or money printing or whatever. You have dinner. I already had dinner. I had part of a roast. So I made this roast, 2.5 pounds, Friday. So I ate part of it yesterday, and then today I had some for lunch. And it's just like I said, my back is just sore for some. I think can't digest. It's getting blocked through. So I gotta just be careful what I eat and go ice my side, and then take some more Advil, and maybe just don't eat again tomorrow and clean it up. I mean, I did a 47-hour fast, but it wasn't for the side. It was for my back and my feet, and they're all fine. I walked at the lake, I think Sunday night, and I was like all excited, going, finally, no pain at all. I was very happy. And then this shit happens, and I don't know what it is. It just seems to have happened after I had the roast, so I'm anticipating it's yet needing to be broken down. So I think as we get older, our parts don't work as well as when I was 20. So I think it's part of it, but I don't know. Anyway, so let's go to week one. Let's go through the line again. All right. So again, Kansas City 2.5, 46.5 in Kansas City. Philly 1.5, 48.5. The game's in Brazil on Friday. The Kansas City game is Thursday. The Giants are back as a 1-point favorite. That's been going back and forth. And 41.5. We've got New Orleans 4.5, 40.5. We've got Miami 3.5, 48.5. Hasn't moved. Most lines haven't moved. A little in college, I'm noticing the totals move, but not in the pros. Houston 2.5, 48.5. Cincinnati 9.5, 42.5. And we got the Bears 4.5, 43.5. Buffalo 7, 48. Atlanta 2.5, 43. San Diego 3.5, 43.5. Seattle 4.5, 42.5. Cleveland 1, 44. Tampa 4, 41.5. Detroit 3.5, 51. And the Niners 5.5, 45.5. So those are our lines as of today, as of right now. I'm going to pencil in the quarterbacks. So we got Lamar against Mahomes. And we'll keep an eye on injuries, of course. See, I'll be telling you injuries. That won't cost you, but the others more here's how I break the game down, and here's the pick. Green Bay, we got Love against Hurts for Philly. Pittsburgh, we got Russell Wilson going against Atlanta, which we don't know. I'm gonna put a slash. We got Kirk Cousins maybe against Penix, because we don't know if Kirk Cousins, he had an Achilles. We don't know if he's healthy. And when Penix could certainly beat him out, he's much better than Cousins. So I don't know. Everybody thinks because Cousins played in the league, they think he's good, but he's lousy, right? I don't see how that he's good. And yet Penix is much better, but you don't see that Cousins is the starter. Penix draft, that was stupid. No, Penix is much better. That was a great draft. They didn't think he'd be there because teams made big mistakes, like New England not taking Penix, and Oakland not taking Penix. All right, Arizona, Buffalo, we got Kyler Murray going against Josh Allen. Tennessee, we've got whatchamacallit against Caleb. what's it, Will Levis, I think. New England, from what I hear, it looks like it'll be New England will be Brissett going against Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. We got Houston with, it'll be Stroud against, we're not sure for Indy, possibly Richardson. He's got shoulder problems. I don't know who their backup is. Jacksonville, we got Lawrence or Larry against Tag. Two crap quarterbacks. Carolina, we got Young. Will he get 10 touchdowns this year? Against New Orleans, it looks like Carr. Minnesota, well, it's got to be Darnold. Worst draft pick in the first round I've ever seen, J.J. McCarthy. Oh, my God. Going against the second worst draft pick in the first round. Daniel Jones. Oakland, San Diego. We've got Oakland. We've got Minshew. San Diego, we got Herbert. Denver, we've got Bo Nix. Seattle, we've got Smith. Dallas, we've got, I'm not sure about Prescott. Prescott's wearing a boot, although it is a few months away, but he is injured. Cleveland, I have no idea. It's either Watson or Thompson, Robinson. Washington, probably Daniels. They got nobody. Goes against Tampa Bay, which will be the Baker. LA, we've got, I want to say Stafford going against Goff. And the Jets, we got Aaron Rodgers, hopefully a whole game, against Frisco, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's got a brother playing on one of these colleges. I forget which one, but we'll see him in college. So, again, the question marks are going to be Atlanta, Cousins or Penix. It's going to be New England's probably Brissett. Indy, is it Richardson or their backup? I assume Darnold gets to start over McCarthy. And then Jones, I guess, gets the start. They're paying the guy like $40 million. Like, what a joke that is. Of course, it won't matter. The money will be worthless. It's funny. I'm showing you the Nazis printed all the British pounds and we're going to flood the market and make it worthless. Nobody has to. The U.S. can't. It doesn't matter. They print it anyway. It's worthless. So there's nothing they can do with it. You can't dump it. It's already been dumped on the U.S. So Denver, probably Bo Nix. Cleveland, is it Watson or Thompson Robinson? Washington, probably Daniels. And then that's it. The rest are pretty much set, provided injuries that happen in the first couple of weeks of the preseason where nobody plays anyway. And then they wonder why they can't complete passes because nobody's the timing's off on everybody. So I will give you the teams here. In other words, Kansas City's an A team, Baltimore's an A team, Green Bay is either an over or an A. We got to see what their defense does. Philly, we don't know. They turned into an over team because they can't stop anybody. We'll see. That's what we got to see is their defense going to get better? Pitt, probably an under, maybe an A team with Wilson. Atlanta has always been an under. Let's see if they can get to a B team. Arizona, an over. Buffalo, probably a B team. Tennessee, under. Chicago, under. New England, Z team. Cincinnati, an A team with Burrow. Houston, not much defense. They're probably more of an over team. Indy's more of an over team also. Terrible defense. Jacksonville, not very good. They don't score. They're not reliable. Lawrence is not a good quarterback, but they don't have a great defense. So they're probably just like an E team or something. They'll score 25, give up 25. So they don't have a great defense. Miami's an over team. Carolina's a Z. New Orleans is under team. Minnesota is a under team with no quarterback. All the teams with no quarterback have to be under teams or Z teams. The Giants, they'll be an under team. Oakland, definitely an under team. San Diego looks like they'll be more of an under team with Harbaugh running and playing Michigan defense. Won't Michigan work here? Let's see, where was I? In San Diego. Denver, I don't know what they'll be. With Bo Nix, we have to see if he should light it up with Sean Payton, but we thought Russell Wilson would have last year. How good is their defense? How good is their out? We don't know. They're a question mark now. Seattle's an over team. They score a lot, and their defense is weak. Dallas is good under team, good defense. Dak Prescott, too many interceptions. He can score, but generally they're more of a B team or an under team. Cleveland's a very strong defense, probably an under or a B team, depending on how their offense does. They're going to hand the ball to Chubb a lot, and the defense, they turn into an under team. Washington, we don't know. They're a Z team. Daniels should score, but how bad's their defense? So they could be an over with Daniels because they won't stop anybody. Tampa's more an under team. They have Baker's okay, get a little bit of points, pretty good defense. Hard to say. The Rams look like they could be an A or a B team with Stafford and Pukanuka, and they got a lot of defensive help for Aaron Donald leaving. There'll be a strong team. There'll be a live dog here. Detroit's an over team. The Jets could be an A team if Rodgers plays. If not, they'll be an under. And the Niners are an A team. So your real A teams are Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati, San Francisco, maybe the Rams, and maybe Green Bay. And we'll have to see about Philadelphia. Dallas doesn't have a quarterback. The teams without the quarterbacks won't be A teams, and they probably will be under teams. So you're looking, like Mahomes, 18, they score 20-some, they give up 17. That's what an A team is. Good offense, good defense. And that's what you're looking for to cover. I mean, that's the whole point of them. So we will see. Outside of that, we'll look on that. So anyway, that's your pros. So you're looking for mostly live dogs, or you're looking for over teams against over teams, or under teams against under. Like Detroit and the Rams should be a high scoring game because Detroit doesn't play defense. And, will they figure out Jared Goff? He's not very good, especially if you blitz him. Keep in mind, the Rams had him and let him go for Stafford. And if he's so good, why would the Rams let him go? And that's my point. So everybody's so high on Goff. Well, they're playing a lot of shit teams. He's done very good. The end of the 2 years ago when they played nobody, and then last year when they had a easy Michigan schedule. They played nobody. And then they played a few good teams, and they lost to Dallas, and they lost to Seattle, and they lost, to the Niners in the playoffs, and they lost to the Bears and Packers during the regular year. They got lucky in the playoffs. They beat the Rams. I was shocked, but then beating Tampa was nothing. They weren't a very good team. Anyway, it shows you how bad Philly was. So we'll see what Philly does. I don't think Hurts is a very good quarterback, and he showed it last year, the last 8 games. I love their defense, but you can't have Matt Patricia as your defensive coordinator. They don't have him. They got Vic Fangio, who was the Bears coach, who sucked. So I question their ability to get a coach. Anyway, so that's what you got to do is identify the team, right? What is the team? And that's where I get into variable. What are the variables of the team? Can they score? Do they have a great defense? Do they have a lousy quarterback? Can they not score? Do they not have a defense? So you're trying to understand the team, and then you can bet it based on, okay, this is what we figured out. KC's the best team. They got Mahomes. They got good defense. So, we'll play them a lot when they're the underdog. Against good offenses, we'll take them because they'll shut them down. And we know Mahomes is always there to win the game for us. And, so that's why you're looking. And then you get to like Carolina, you just bet against them. They suck. No quarterback, no offense, no defense, no coach. And so you play against them like that. And that's what you're looking for. Anyway, so that's the point of when I talk gambling is what am I doing? I want to bet to win, okay? And then you have to understand the game to bet to win. So how do I bet? And is it a good bet? You want to make good bets. You don't want to make bad bets. And we talk about poker, and we talk about stock markets, and we talk about the money, and we talk about gold. It's all gambling. But what makes sense, and do we understand it? That's really what you need to do is understand it. That's what I try to teach you here is what's a good gamble and what isn't, but it's all gambling. Don't for a second think stocks aren't gambling and money in the bank's not gambling. And gold's the closest thing to not gambling because we know that's going to go up once it gets out of this derivative bullshit, which is what we see here. So anyway, that's what we have. So we will see. Anyway, so we did college yesterday. College is a little bit more, you've got a lot of coaches going around and the transfer portal. College is a little more of a nightmare the first couple of weeks. The pros, we know what Baltimore and KC are. They're not changing from last year. See, the good teams like Baltimore and KC, forget the draft. You might have your top 2 picks make the team. Or at least have, start or our backups. And teams like Detroit, the GM's so good because he had no talent at all. So anybody he drafts are going to make the team. But we know better. So that's my point. So you're looking at the worst teams, their draft picks make it, but are they really good? And the better teams, Buffalo, how many guys are going to get drafted and make the team? Shows you how weak Chicago is. They pick Caleb and, he's our starting quarterback. And how many NFL games has he played in? None. How do you know he can play? See, that's the point. To Cincinnati's not taking quarterbacks. They got Joe Burrow. That's the whole point of it. So teams that needed quarterbacks should take it. And again, I think the biggest mistake in the draft was San Diego not taking Brock Bowers. I was watching a Georgia-Alabama game on YouTube, and here's Brock Bowers, just, awesome. And you're thinking, okay, so they took a offensive lineman from Notre Dame instead of Brock Bowers, and you're like, you're out of your mind. You'll never get another Brock Bowers. They're every 10 years. Linemen from Notre Dame I can get any year. There's always All-American linemen every year, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure Atlanta's taken a lot of first-round offensive linemen that hasn't helped them at all because that's not a key position. Anyway, so that'd be football week 1 again. So we'll start doing this whenever you're ready. So I'm not going to make picks yet. I'll let you know because we got to look at the preseason and the injuries. So probably the week of. So it starts September 5th or whatever. So probably the last week in August, I'll have the picks made and put up. And then you can, when I tell you that, then you can buy the class. And it'll be, you'll get it as much time as I do it during the week. I might do it 2 or 3 times, but it's only 25 once. And then we'll talk like we're doing now, and I give you the picks. And I might have other picks or something else comes up. We'll have another video. And if you miss it, it doesn't matter. It'll be a private where your email's entered. And then you'll see, oh, I did another one. And then, maybe there's an update of weather or an injury or something. And you can go there. So that's what we have. And we'll take it from there. So anyway, I'm in some pain, so I'm gonna probably put an ice pack on my side and take some Motrin. I don't know. Maybe I won't eat for the next couple of weeks or get this cleared out. It's funny is I just did a 47-hour fast, so I'm like, what is this? It started Saturday in the pool, so I think it's a pulled muscle, which seems to be more hurting after I ate a roast than the workout. I did a workout, but I was very careful. I didn't do much of a workout in the pool today. I did the bike, but the pool I was very reluctant to stretch a lot. So I did some breathing, but not a lot. It hurt when I did my stroke. So I'm thinking this is where I pulled it, is doing my freestyle or my breaststroke. Anyway, I think that's it. So again, inflation. The Nazis printed a bunch of British pounds to inflate and ruin the dollar, the British pound. We've printed our money terribly, and it's ruined. And I'm telling you, it's ruined. And people are looking at prices. So it's like a magician. Oh, yeah, look at this hand, and this is the inflation hand. Here's the prices. Oh, look. Yeah, but you printed so much money. And so the examples I give you are the Roman Empire, the Netherlands, Spanish, the French in 1795, and the British in 1930 or whatever. Obviously, Germany. Why did they? And it's like the inflation hits 13,000%. Well, why didn't they stop it? Because you can't. Once you printed the money, you can't get the genie back in the bottle. It's printed, and that's it. So you can't really go, well, why didn't they reverse the inflation? And the only way you can reverse it is with gold. Even if you come out with a new currency, like the Germans did with the Deutschmark or the Reichsmark or whatever they called it. It was Reichsmark and then Deutschmark. Didn't really stop it. That's how Hitler got into power. And then Hitler had all this gold. I remember watching one of the videos. He had I don't know, probably 10,000 tons of gold or something. And he put it under these tunnels in the ground. And it was guarded. So he knew about gold. So as nuts as he was, he knew about gold, or at least the German and the people who ran Germany knew about gold. So we'll say that. Anyway, so that's about it. Again, so don't forget that. That's why I wanted to play it first. Baseball, we've gone through, is we've got Cleveland over 8.5, 2 units. Minnesota over 9.5, 2 units. And Atlanta's got Chris Sale on the mound. That'll be 5 units. And that's it. There's only a few games today. And then be back to normal action tomorrow. So I'm going to go take some Motrin and ice. And I don't know if I should go to the doctor or not, but I might. I love how the doctor's like 9 to 5 and never weekends. And you're like, so you can't get sick after 5 or on the weekends. So we'll see. But I do feel a little lightheaded and the pain in the side. So I probably need some sleep. Anyway, that's what's going on. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. www.teaserking.com and enjoy your evening. All right. Take care, everybody.